Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements, proven by time, engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. Building dreams that last.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather at noon.
Well, good Thursday, everybody. Taylor Plott here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with a check on your forecast. Obviously, our big focus is going to end up being our strong and severe storm risk for tomorrow. I have the latest on that, but I can say the bulk of the day today, if not the entirety of the day, is going to be dry, but just a lot of clouds. It's going to be warm, though, and breezy, so all in all, not a bad day whatsoever. But, of course, like I said, our focus is going to be in on tomorrow. Let's get right to your forecast. First off, let's start with your Arctic Air Skycam network. Lawrenceburg, Florence, Huntsville, and Savannah checking in on this Thursday, and you see a lot of cloud cover continue to move across the area. There will probably be breaks here and there that will allow a little bit of sunshine, but for the most part, I think we're just dealing with a lot of cloud cover. But that wind that we will have coming out of the south, it's going to usher in some warmer and more moist air that's going to set the stage for the storms tomorrow. So for the most part today, you're just going to be dealing with all of that cloud cover around. Let's talk about the overall perspective, kind of back things out, take a look at the radar satellite composite. Here's our storm system, getting it sat together off to the west. We had a tornado watch. As a matter of fact, still got a portion of the tornado watch here across parts of northwestern Arkansas near Fayetteville, but we did see at least, I think, one tornado report that was across the Oklahoma City metro area. So that's the storm system that we're watching moving off to the east. But what's going to happen is this low pressure is going to move this way, and then we're going to get a secondary low that's going to develop right about here, and it's going to end up tracking across the area. That's going to give us our best shot at maybe seeing some stronger storms for tomorrow. For today, though, we're just dealing with the cloud cover and the warmer temperatures. Right now, it's 67 at the Huntsville International Airport, 66 in Fayetteville and Pulaski, 64 here in Lawrenceburg, 63 in Florence, still 61 degrees in Moulton. I think most of us end up getting into the upper 60s to around 70 degrees today, but there could be some spots that just stay in the upper 60s as opposed to 70 degrees because of the cloud cover. So that's what we're dealing with your afternoon forecast. Temperatures getting right up to around that 70-degree mark. Here's a look at your overall high temperatures across the area with your hometown forecast. 72 in Fayetteville, 70 in Pulaski and Lawrenceburg. Across the state line, slightly warmer, right around 73 degrees for Huntsville and 73 over there in the Shoals. Most places, if not the entirety of the area, should be relatively dry today, but there could be an isolated shower around. Rain chances only around like 10%. Our better chance will arrive by the time we hit the late evening hours, and that's going to set the stage for our rain and storms going into tomorrow. So real quick, overnight lows tonight will generally be in the lower and middle 60s. Let's talk about our severe weather risk for tomorrow. This is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. We do still have parts of the area under that slight risk, but you notice it has now been pushed to the south. And honestly, my gut feeling says this is going to end up being pushed even further south once we get into the day tomorrow, because it really looks like we're just going to get a lot of heavy rain across the area with some embedded thunder and lightning, and that's going to end up just pushing any instability and severe weather risk to our south. But erring on the side of caution, we still have a threat that we need to talk about, and there could be an outside chance that we see some of that try to materialize. If it does materialize, think of this as a conditional risk. If we end up getting certain things that play out, then we could end up getting a severe storm, but for the most part, I think we're just dealing with a lot of heavy rain. So if we do end up seeing a severe storm or two, main issue is going to end up being some strong to damaging winds around 50 to 60 miles per hour. Still maybe an outside chance of an isolated tornado or two. I think that's pretty on the lower end of things right now, but it's still on the board in case we see something happen. But I think the majority of us are just going to be dealing with that heavy rainfall where 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of rain could be possible across our area. And because we've had a drought so far, the ground's pretty hard, and it's not going to be able to soak in that rainfall quickly enough. And if we get a lot of heavy rain very quickly, that's going to lead to some flooding concerns. Let's talk about it with your futurecast this afternoon. A lot of cloud cover, breezy southerly winds, maybe an isolated shower or two. I think our first batch is going to move through during the morning hours on your Friday, And depending on how things play out, if we get a lot of that heavy rainfall, like I mentioned, during the afternoon and evening, if there were to be a strong storm or two, maybe briefly severe, this honestly might be our best chance during the morning hours, but it's going to be outrunning the better instability where it really limits any severe weather risk. But given the overall setup and how things look like they could play out tomorrow, honestly, this might be our best shot at seeing something that could become briefly severe. So we'll keep a close eye on that for the morning hours. Most of this should just end up being just some locally heavy rain, maybe some strong wind gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour, and that should be about it. There could be a brief break during the afternoon hours at 2 p.m. here if Futurecast is correct, and then watch what happens once we move through the afternoon hours and evening. 7 p.m., just a lot of heavy rainfall, moderate to heavy rain moving into the area, just a big area of steady rain. And what that will do is push a boundary that is off to our south, and it will act as like a brick wall where any of that warm, moist air that's trying to come up from the south will hit that, and it can't get further north. And that just leads to us getting just a lot of heavy rainfall, and that's just going to end up reinforcing that boundary to our south and should keep most of the severe weather threat towards our south as well. We'll still keep a close eye on things because there's still time for some trends to change. Here's the front itself moving through during the early morning hours on your Saturday. That could bring around us some showers, maybe some storms, and once that moves on out of here, we're ending our strong and severe storm risk. And then once we get into your daytime on Saturday, depending on when that kind of big cold air push rushes in, we'll probably end up being in the 60s for the most part in the morning. Then by the afternoon hours, probably dipping down into the 50s. Going into your Sunday morning, temperatures should be right around freezing, and then we're looking at a breezy day for your Sunday. Northwesterly winds gusting around 20 to 30 miles per hour, potentially making it feel cooler. Then Monday morning rolls around, we're dropping out into the 20s. Rain chances over the next 7 days. Best chance is, of course, with our system on Friday. Another system moves through on Wednesday. That'll give us a chance for some showers. So again, I will emphasize we're still watching a chance for some severe weather on Friday, but the latest trends are very promising to where the bulk of the severe weather, if not the entirety of the severe weather threat, will end up being off to our south. But we'll still be dealing with a lot of heavy rainfall, maybe some flooding, and of course, there's still time to watch things, so be cautious. I still wouldn't be overly concerned, but I wouldn't say our severe weather risk for Friday is zero yet. It's just definitely getting on the lower end of things right now. So keep checking back with us here at the Tennessee Valley Weather Center for the latest. I will say that our temperatures, that's for certain, we are going to get chilly once we get into the beginning of next week, with 40s continuing into your Monday. And then eventually we get back up into the 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. So again, a little bit of a reality check coming in because it is January 8th today. And so, yeah, you would expect it to be pretty chilly outside. So again, we'll keep a close eye on the severe weather threat for Friday. Fred Gossage will be in at 5 p.m. this evening, and he will have another full look at your forecast and another update on that severe weather risk. So again, I will just emphasize, stay weather aware tomorrow. If we don't see any severe weather, we're probably going to end up seeing a lot of heavy rainfall anyway, and that could lead to some flooding. So it's just a question of, are we dealing with severe weather issues and flooding, or are we just dealing with some flooding issues? That's TBD at the moment, but the trends are looking good as for that severe weather threat being off to our south. That's your latest forecast here from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Everybody have a great rest of your Thursday and stay weather aware tomorrow.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.